A very good afternoon. This is your lunchtime news, and I'm Patricia Lokoma. Pango government has cleared the upcoming Nyege event scheduled to take place in the Eastern District of Jinja next week. Prime Minister Robin Anabanja says that organizers are required to follow strict guidelines and restrictions against acts of immorality.
I know it will come up to you soon. Yes, quietly between you and me, we are still rushing.
My submission is really looking at the consequences. Number one, how is Uganda going to be treated in the international global space in terms of events and occasions? That's number one. The consequences, the river stations are extremely far-reaching, and we are likely to get sidelined, especially from perspective of the organizers, especially the line ministry, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Tourism. We are really likely to be sidelined in international space, and we may not really get this image back.
Since 2018, we have worked very closely with the police, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and all the other government agencies to make sure that the festival is safe and secure. In all those years, we've never had any evidence of the allegations that have been made towards the festival. They're talked about, but nothing has ever been shown to us that, look, this is what happened at the festival. Of course, there has been minor incidents that we've handled together with the police on the ground. Like at any other event, those things can happen. These things can happen at any event, whether it's Nyege Nyege or even a concert in Kampala or any other carnival.
Under my chair, to organize the Nyege Nyege event that has been taking place in this country for the last 10 years. A number of resolutions have been reached. One of them is to harmonize with the arm of Parliament to see that this event takes place with guidelines that will restrict those that are coming to celebrate in the event to behave in a manner that is acceptable by Ugandan cultures. We have tasked the Ministry of Ethics and Integrity and that of National Guidance to come up with guidelines together with the organizers to come up with guidelines that will be followed during the event. The event will take place because the timing, we have given them a very short time. Some people had already booked tickets. Others are already in the country. It's an event that attracts thousands and thousands of tourists across the globe, and therefore cancellation at such a short notice was a bit challenging, because we also have to think about the economy. We also have to think about the name of the country, and also negate through these other challenges that come with that event.
Now, to do with ex-rebels, Amnesty Commission has granted amnesty to 14 ex-combatants after denouncing their intentions to participate in any rebel activities. 47 others are still under trial in connection to rebel activities against the current regime.
UPDF court-martial has forgiven 14 ex-combatants and surrendered them to the Amnesty Commission of Uganda for further management. The 14 have been operating under Homeland Liberation Army in Zombo district, fighting the current government.
The reason why we went into taking arms against the government was because of some of the issues which we were going through as citizens of Uganda, particularly in Zombo district, being economical issues, developmental and social issues. Now that we have been granted amnesty, on behalf of my group here, we have denounced the rebellion.
The chairperson of the Amnesty Commission, Justice Peter Onega, advised the combatants to use their amnesty responsibly and also called upon the community to receive them.
They should know that you are their sons. And they should know that somebody can sometimes error. That doesn't mean that somebody stops being your relative or stops being a fellow person from Zombo.
Amnesty is accorded once, and if breached, there is no any other opportunity.
The amnesty process is still in existence. The law has not yet been repealed, it is there, and anybody who is out there fighting government can still come back and be given amnesty. And when you are given amnesty, you will not be prosecuted or punished for any crime you might have done in the process of rebellion.
Recently, some beneficiaries of amnesty have been arrested in connection to terror activities. The last incident being an ADF rebel operating a bunker to recruit juveniles into terrorism in Luwero district.
They makes confessions, you have no business keeping him. Are we together? He has already got the ways of getting out. However, now that he has violated the amnesty conditions, I think the treatment will be different.
The ex-combatants have been given amnesty certificates and resettlement packages as they return to their community. Ivan Kahwa and Joyce Akelo, UBC News.
Now, crossing over to Parliament, coffee farmers under the umbrella body Devoted Coffee Farmers Initiative have threatened to destroy their coffee nursery beds if government does not allow them to supply the seedlings to farmers on credit. This follows delayed response on their petition over government's delay in disbursing funds for distribution of coffee seedlings to farmers.
Coffee farmers carried samples of coffee seedlings under their umbrella of Devoted Farmers Initiative, marching to Parliament in a peaceful demonstration, protesting delays by government in disbursing funds for distribution of coffee seedlings to farmers. The chairperson, Matiat Mwebaze, led the farmers to Parliament. The process of distribution of seedlings was supposed to start in March this year, but was halted by government following the launch of parish development model. Coffee farmers and nursery bed seedling operators claim they were not consulted.
We were very eager to supply the seedlings, but to our dismay, we never supplied. When we chased these things, we had to reach to Parliament to discuss our issue of coffee. But they told us that this coffee will be given to parish model.
In their petition to the Speaker of Parliament last month, coffee farmers and nursery bed operators requested for permission to supply seedlings to farmers to save them from losses and wastage. The petition from Devoted Coffee Farmers Initiative Uganda was presented by Shema District Woman Member of Parliament Rosemary Nyachikongoro and Mwenge North County MP David Muhumuzi.
If the government can agree, we supply, they give us order, we supply this coffee we have, because we are going to lose that money.
Although the Minister of Finance and that of Agriculture were supposed to respond on the matter in Parliament, no communication has since been received.
And the nursery operators have already invested a lot of money in raising the seedlings. This was very abrupt because UCDA never informed us that they are not buying the seedlings this season to give to the farmers.
The farmers and coffee nursery bed operators want government to allow them to distribute seedlings on credit for at least this season to save them from losses.
Give us time to give farmers at least because we have in the garden or the sites so that they can take it.
They anticipate a loss of 500 billion from the overgrown seedlings and accumulated bank loans.
The money we went to banks, we can't go for more loans because loans are really many. We are stuck.
Since 2015, Uganda Coffee Development Authority supported farmers with seedlings and seeds for distribution to farmers, but the process was halted following the launch of the parish development model. Efforts to contact Uganda Coffee Development Authority went futile as all persons contacted did not respond. Susan Naung and Andrew Sebira reporting for ABC TV.
Now, in Kasese, residents of Obundiko Rural Village and Kilembe Sub-County, Kasese District, woke up in grief when 15 of their locals were buried in mudslides. The incident happened following a heavy downpour that had befell the area and lasted for more than 5 years. The two deceased children, identified as Joas Bwambale, aged 12 years, and Jofred Masereka, a 10-year-old, were pupils at Obundiko Primary School in Primary 4 and Primary 1, respectively. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Now, members of Parliament and Cabinet have been earmarked for training in Kiswahili language as Uganda moves to have the country's second official language widely spoken. First Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for East African Community Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, says this will interest other government agencies into adopting the language.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On the issues to do with the works of the committee.
The Council of Ministers directed the Kiswahili Commission to develop programs and manuals for Kiswahili teaching and training in the partner states. The programs and manuals are therefore part of the Kiswahili development tools to help the partner state develop the language and popularize its usage in the EAC integration activities. Due to resource constraints, the East African Kiswahili Commission prioritized the Parliament of Uganda, the media, and the education sector as key entry points. I'm happy to inform the honour members that at least at a number of the borders, there's now a minimum amount of teaching of Swahili in the schools. So Parliament was selected for the following reasons. It has a critical role as an entry point in ensuring that Swahili becomes an official language. 2, it has the potential of contributing both national and regional integration, as well as sustainable development. We need Parliament to support the National Kiswahili Council to be established in this country. We shall need necessary policy, human and financial support for this. We shall need the legislative, budgetary and oversight roles of Parliament to support the promotion and development of Kiswahili, not only as an official language, but also as a lingua franca, as already mentioned.
I had proposed a private members' bill on the constitutional amendment of Article 6 in the Constitution. It's good that we agreed with the minister responsible for East Africa and also the speaker, and they said they would bring it. Today I'm very happy. Niko na furaha kubwa kabisa. We have our own version of Kiswahili. I want to say in this country, apart from us lawmakers and those of us who are out of a certain class, the Western style of class, The rest, about 30 or so million, speak Kiswahili in this country.
The idea of promoting Kiswahili is a very good idea. That is a very idle provision in our constitution. It's one of our official languages. Other than English, we are supposed to have Kiswahili. But you find that with the embracing of the East African community that we are going into, one of the cross-cutting languages is Kiswahili. But you find that to quicken our footsteps in the whole region, Uganda is one of the most lagging countries that Kiswahili is not embraced fully. But
we are not moving according to the pace which other countries have moved. So for me, since we are lagging behind, if in this next financial year resources can be availed at different levels, even the local government level, so that these councils, the local councils, even the honorable councillors and some other meetings of that nature, they use Kiswahili as one of the languages, I think it will be good. It will ease our trade.
Yeah, for example, me, I'm from Sabei region. Sabei, we border Kenya, and the main language in Kenya is Kiswahili. So doing business, trading sometimes becomes difficult. And that's why this is a very good opportunity for us. And my people, when they heard about it, they actually happy.
We all need this language as Ugandans. The MPs need it, the cabinet needs the language, the Wananchi also needs the language, so that we are able to integrate effectively in East Africa. If we don't learn Kiswahili, we shall still find difficulties in the issue of integration as a country.
Ni kweli wote tunahitaji tujifunze Kiswahili. Ni lugha nzuri na ni lugha ya East Africa. Now, moving ahead, National Curriculum Development Center embarked on reviewing the curriculum for advanced level education to make it a learner's center and competence-based, to align it with the new lower secondary curriculum now in implementation. The Deputy Director in charge of Academics Curriculum Development Center, Benedette Nambi Karuhanga, says that this review is currently at consultation stage and expected to come up with a generally acceptable decision before writing.
National Curriculum Development Center with the Ministry of Education and Sports in 2020 started implementing the new lower secondary curriculum that is 2 years now. But this was disrupted by the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown on schools. This curriculum is learner-centered and competency-based. Students who have trained in this curriculum are expected to complete O-level by 2024. National Curriculum Development Center carried out a needs assessment to identify the gaps in the current A-level curriculum.
Learners have been exposed to a curriculum which is learner-centered and which is competence-based. We felt that it was necessary for us to look into the A-level curriculum. Issues come up, like issues like HIV/AIDS, issues like gender, climate change, and so on, including COVID-19. We have not been reviewing the whole curriculum. We've just been bringing on board a few sections to integrate in the curriculum.
Results from the study indicate that a section of members of the public would have loved to have the A-level curriculum vocationalized, hence NCDC embarking on carrying out stakeholder consultations to see whether such a curriculum is implementable.
We are thinking that there are different ways we can choose to say. Others was proposing that we could have each of the learners have a vocational subject in addition to their normal subjects, while others felt that we could also consider vocationalizing the subjects in themselves by integrating vocational elements and vocational concepts within the subjects.
Since the curriculum is still under consultation stage, NCDC has not yet determined the subjects students are going to offer, combinations and curriculum menu, since some members of the public propose a reduction. In the new lower secondary curriculum, ICT was integrated as a tool for learning to expose learners to ICT skills. This coupled with the COVID-19 situation that taught them that blended learning needs to be given priority. However, as they review the A-level curriculum, respondents propose integrating ICT in all subjects at A level and also learn it as an independent subject.
To see that ICT is integrated in the subjects, but also is taught as a subject. But because of the challenges that can be experienced by the various service providers of education, especially the private institutions, we may not make it an ultimatum that all schools must have the ICTs. However, when we are designing the curriculum, we propose that the teacher is free to use ICTs while teaching this curriculum. But in the event that the teacher does not have the ICTs, the teacher could use an alternative method.
The consultations started at the beginning of 2022 and will end by end of this year, when NCDC will come out with a generally accepted decision on the new A-level curriculum to start writing the document. I'm Nafka Farida and Stephen Kalisia in Chambogo.
Let's take a short break and return with our business news.
Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, Nga, you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello. Is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Children are a special gift, one we must protect and nurture with care. Ensuring your child has a birth certificate opens doors for them that would otherwise be hard to access, such as immunization, school admission, or simply proving their age and belonging. Let us do our duty as parents and guardians by registering our children and getting them birth certificates. For more information, visit the NERA office closest to you or call the toll-free number 0800-211-700. This message is brought to you by NERA.
Stay connected on the largest 4G network in Uganda using the Airtel 4G Pocket MiFi at only 75,000 Uganda shillings. It comes with 15 GBs free, valid for a month. You can connect up to 10 of your friends and family at a go. Visit the nearest Airtel shop to get one today or call 0800 333 330 for free delivery within Kampala. Dial *175 *9# to activate free 15 GBs. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Forget last season. Forget the oohs and the ahs. Forget every moment that stole the show, because the real show is here on GoTV. It's the new season. It's action-packed and it's going to be non-stop football. With over 1,000 games from more than 7 leagues and cup competitions plus a World Cup. Make sure you get the best seat in the house this new football season. Get a GoCoder with 1 month of GoTV value for only 25,000 Uganda shillings and enjoy non-stop football. GoTV Uganda. Love it.
And in business, Kenya's President-elect William Ruto has an uphill task to stabilizing the economy and making things move in a right direction. Kenya, a middle-income nation with plans of becoming a newly industrialized economy by 2030, is facing numerous challenges, among them corruption, high taxes, and the alarming rise in the cost of living. With all this and more, it seems that Dr. William Ruto's honeymoon is over before it actually begins.
President-elect William Ruto says he owes his victory to God and assures his detractors that he will not seek revenge. The president-elect will be sworn in on the 13th of September 2022. In a televised speech last evening, said that his focus is on the future of the country, adding that the current challenges Kenya is facing on the social and economic front needs all hands on the deck to have things move in the right direction.
We are a very responsible people. Government is a continuous enterprise, and we will complete all the projects that have not been completed, as we have said, and we will build on that foundation the programs that we have committed to the people of Kenya, and we will hit the ground running because we are aware of what we need to do.
The outgoing President Uhuru Kenyatta also issued a brief statement following the Supreme Court's decision to uphold the presidential election results. Kenyatta vowed to oversee a smooth transition to the next administration, ending speculations on whether he will be part of a process enshrined in the Kenyan constitution.
And indeed, it is my intention to oversee a smooth transition to the next administration, and all the necessary orders to facilitate this process have already been issued.
As the ball starts rolling towards the ushering in of a new administration that will steer East Africa's largest economy for 5 years, we take a keen look on the status of the economy Ruto, often referred to as the hustler-in-chief, is inheriting. Analysts argue that Ruto's honeymoon is over before it actually begins. Their argument is based on the dire straits in various sectors that the country is currently grappling with. They include high employment rates, high public debt that is currently estimated at 8.6 trillion Kenyan shillings, corruption and wastage of public funds, high taxes, and the rise in the cost of living, among others.
Sababu tunasikia hata Amerika, hata Uingereza bado vitu ziko juu. Ni kulingana na vile maisha inaendelea. Si ati tunaweza kulaumu president ama tulaumu mtu yote.
To me, I would say the most urgent thing right now is, first thing is just to maintain peace. Bottom line, because when you have peace, everything flows. We'll be able to move around, we'll be able to work. Yeah? If he can tackle that and calm the nerves of everybody else and just assure people that everything is going to flow, to me that is bottom line number one. Number two, improve on the economy. Everything is just skyrocketing. Skyrocketing. Everybody's crying. You know, you cannot do business. Yes. You cannot buy your packet of unga in peace. You know?
We need jobs. A lot of youth in Kenya don't have jobs. And for me, that is very important. And even during the corona pandemic season, we realized that a lot of people lost a lot.
Quatesimu! Get the 4G smartphone of your dreams today and pay as you use. Choose from the Tecno Pop 5 Pro, Tecno Pova Neo, Samsung A03 Core or Nokia C10 and pay conveniently in daily, weekly and monthly installments for a period of a year using Airtel Money. You will also enjoy free 3GB and 100% bonus data on weekly and monthly bundles every month for 3 months. Visit any D-Lite shop or select Airtel Money branches countrywide and get one today. Terms and conditions apply. Airtel, the smartphone net.
Fun is our flavor. When we're together, the vibe is pretty alright. Our taste is pretty awesome. We are Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment. Enjoy Mirinda Fruity, Uganda's #1 fruity refreshment.
The Corporate Games season 2022-2023 is here. Don't miss lots of fun and networking. 12 sports disciplines and over 2,000 participants with over 40 corporate companies in one place. This happens every first Sunday of every month. For more information, contact info@corporategamesug.com or visit our website www.corporategamesug.com, or you can call us on 0700 339 048 or 0785 642 953. Don't miss on Sunday, 11th of September 2022 at Chambogo University. The Corporate Games, inspiring corporates through sports.
Ooh, they look nice.
Thank you, honey.
Yo!
You guys gather, it's going down.
Gather! Gather! Yo!
I tell you what.
Yo!
Yo!
Airtel is giving you bigger data bundles for the same price. Dial *175# to choose from our range of bigger Chillax bundles that don't expire. Bigger monthly bundles, all for the same price, and stay connected longer to loved ones. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that short break. As we turn into the world of sports, Chelsea has sacked manager Thomas Tuchel following Tuesday's night Champions League defeat by Dinamo Zagreb. The 49-year-old former Borussia Dortmund and Paris Saint-Germain boss leaves Stamford Bridge after 20 months. Owner Todd Boehly has placed Tuchel's coaching staff in temporary charge until a replacement is found. A club statement said the owners believe it is the right time to bring in a new head coach. Tuchel was appointed on the 26th January 2021, replacing Frank Lampard, and guided the club to their second Champions League title just 4 months later. He went on to add the UEFA Super Cup and FIFA Club World Cup later that year. Chelsea had fallen from being top of the Premier League at the start of December 2020 to 8th before Lampard's departure in January 2021, out of the title race and in danger of missing out on the Champions League spot. Chelsea went on to beat Manchester City in the 2021 Champions League final in Porto as Tuchel repeated the feat of Roberto Di Matteo, who led Chelsea to the 2012 Champions League title after taking charge midway through the season. Now, youth in Uganda have been urged to embrace football as a talent and a source of income if taken to a higher level. Michael Wagira, the chairman of MK Project, advised the youth during the Sivers tournament teams between Lufula versus Chiseka Market at Kolo Playground in Kampala.
During a Severs tournament held at Kololo, the chairman MK Project Michael Wajira called on the youth to involve themselves in activities that promote their talents.
It's a game between Rufra and Chiseka Market. So these are our boys. We are trying to identify talents and support them. So that's the reason we are here. It's called Sevo Cup because it's the president that sponsored this cup. That's why it's called Sevo Cup. And we also come in as supporters because me as team chairman, we support youth. Like you hear, MK is our brand. Through MK, we support youth, we support talents, sports, and entertainment, and even other sports actually, basically.
Susan Tushaba, the chairperson Owino Market, hailed President Museveni for fulfilling his promise in improving market services as well as promoting youth talents.
Appreciate the President of Uganda, His Excellency, the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for liberating markets. We have been in wrangles. We have been brutally harassed and for 30 years. But as of now, the markets are now in KCCA. That is what we really wanted from the day one, to stop these mafias, to take away our markets. So we are so thankful to His Excellency. That is why we have this tournament to say thank you for liberating us.
Chiseka and Lufla market leaders appreciated MK Project for supporting them in promoting their youth talents as well as promoting togetherness.
N'olwekyo tuli basanyufu nnyo okulaba nga tuli ne Lufula, tulina abantu ab'enjawulo bano betuludde okulaba, abantu bangi betuludde okulaba, bonna twesanze wano.
Fenga ab'obutale nga twebaza, nate nga ab'obutale nga tukola obasseruganda nga tusobola okuwuliziganya ekyokulabirako nti nga nsobola okuwuliziganya n'owa Kiseka gwe mmanyidde dda nti atunda sipeya, nga nsobola okuwuliziganya n'owino gwe mmanyidde dda nti ye wa birime, nga nsobola okuwuliziganya n'Nakawa gwe mmanyidde dda nti ye atunda byombi, engoye naki kirabamu mu basseruganda.
Justin Nakami for UBC News.
Story, we end our lunchtime news. Thank you so much for keeping us company. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango. Good afternoon.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
My name is Damali Sali and I welcome you to this episode of the Ideation Corner. The Ideation Corner is a space where ideas are discussed and dissected. And today I host Ojok Okello, who is the founder of Okere City, and he's going to tell us all about it. Okello, you're very welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Damali, for this opportunity. Okere City is a radical and very ambitious rural development plan to build the first sustainable city in Africa. And how are we doing it? We are doing this by establishing a set of social businesses that do not only create employment opportunities, but also provide goods and social services for the advancement or elevation of the community. We started the project in 2019, and
just before COVID.
Yeah, just before COVID, really. We really started our operations around August of 2019, and we started one of our very first projects was a community school. But anyway, so before we even started the project, the idea of Okere City didn't exist. It didn't exist at all because I just returned to this village in 2018.
Okere.
Yeah, to Okere village. So Okere City is named out of a village in northern Uganda, Tuchel district specifically. It's about 80 kilometers away from Lira town or Lira city now, but about 420 kilometers away from Kampala city. So it's really a community that was destroyed by war. If you understand, you know, the decades of conflict and instabilities that was mounted in the northern part of the region by both the Karamojo rustlers, but also the Lord Resistance Army. And so when I went back to the village, I had been out of the village, one, because my father died when I was still a baby. My mother, of course, remarried, and so I spent all the time, you know, my childhood with my mom. But again, the quest for identity and wanting to belong pushed me back to kind of look for where my ancestors are, where
like
my
who am I?
who am I? Where do I belong? Who are my relatives really? And so when I went back home, I really found the bush. There was nothing at home. So I then had to ask myself a fundamental question. How do I use my skills? How do I use my talents? I mean, I'm a development worker. I studied rural and development studies from Makerere University. I went to the London School of Economics to study international development. I'd worked in the development industry for over a decade. So I was equipped, you know, with all the skills, knowledge, but also networks. But initially it was really just me making myself comfortable in the village. But then over time, you know, as I started building little cottages for my, just for my own self and comfort in the village, I was soon to realize that this had to be more than myself, because little children started coming to play in my compound, and this was the time they were supposed to be in school. And I checked with them and they told me they are not going to school. I talked to their parents and saw a little house that I constructed to be my rest house was just almost instantaneously turned into a classroom.
Okay.
Yes, and so this really forms the basis of this project. And so when we started the school,
so that's why you were saying that it's not something that you start conceptualize and then went to Okere City.
No.
It just
it was the idea of Okere City arose really out of the need, you know, the need and the plethora of developmental challenges that this community found themselves and trapped in, and that, you know, there wasn't any way out of this trap, and anything that would bring a flicker of hope and a possibility for elevation would quite quickly be embraced by the community.
It's not that the kids weren't going to school because there wasn't a school.
Yeah, they weren't going to school because they didn't want to school. They were not going to school because there was nowhere they could go to. The entire village didn't have an early childhood development center. The nearest primary school was about 4 kilometers away, and
until they're primary school age, then they don't go to school until they're primary school age.
So until they're 7 years old, they don't go to school, right? And so we started our early childhood development center in August of 2019. COVID-19. And, you know, within a stretch of 3-4 months, the number had, you know, skyrocketed from just 8 when these kids started, 8 kids started coming to school to about 120 by the end of 2019. But also when the parents started coming together, you know, and conducting school businesses, because then the school is a community school. We all had to contribute. My contribution was the space and a little classroom, and perhaps also the teacher's salary, because we had to recruit a professional, you know, early childhood development expert. But the community had to come and cook food for the kids. They had to bring food stuff. They had to, so every time, yeah, they had to volunteer. That was the initial concept. So they found, like slowly, this little space kept growing and expanding. And the parents, you know, just said, we can't just come here to cook food for the children, to bring firewood and grass and all these things. How about we come together and then start also like village savings and lending activities amongst us? So the parents, about 60 of them, came together and they started lending and lending money amongst themselves, saving. And by the end of 2019, and this was just between July to December of the same year, they had saved up to about 3.5 million shillings. This was the biggest savings this village had ever experienced. And remember, it wasn't a full year cycle from January to December.
Just 3 months.
It was just about 3 months. So this kind of gave a lot of hope and enthusiasm and interest amongst the community members to continue working together, because they could then see that
they could see the
together,
value in numbers. We've come together, we can really do it. We now have a school, we have a saving group that's making money. Okay.
And so with numbers and with a common vision and purpose, the community then actually realized that they could achieve much more. And yeah, so we continued operating like this, and of course 2020 started and we started our school program, and the number skyrocketed. We had 200 children, you know, from 120 in December of the last year, you know, and there were lots of activities, you know, but also we had started a grocery shop in the village because the parents needed to have access to scholastic materials, you know, to sugar, salt and soap and all these things. So the space really started growing and expanded organically. And all these kind of activities and operations made this like little space at where the grocery store is, like it emerged into like a market square, you know, where community members brought cassava, brought sweet potatoes, brought shea butter to sell,
to buy and sell
amongst themselves, and then they could get a little extra penny to go to the shop and then buy salt or sugar or whatever it is they needed at home. So this is really the story of how this started. We had not envisioned this project, at least not yet. But then, of course, as a social entrepreneur myself and as a development worker, I had to turn this around, you know, into, you know, something more formal, into something, you know, with some framework, with some structure, because I could see that, you know, informally and organically, it was morphing out into something amazing. And so that is how the idea of the Okere City project came about. I just imagined that, you know, Kampala City could have been a swamp a century or so ago. London or, well, Dubai, in our lifetime, was a dry land full of goat and camel keepers. But now we see the kind of city it is because of will and human effort.
True.
Right? But why do people go to Dubai again? People go to Dubai for opportunities.
Yes.
And perhaps social amenities. So couldn't we create this in Okere?
Couldn't Okere City become that?
Yeah. So definitely Okere City is not going to be Dubai. Yeah. Okere City is going to emerge as a city centered on the interests, you know, and possibilities within the community, you know, both culturally, socially, and otherwise. And we are going to pursue, you know, businesses and social entrepreneurial possibilities that re-echo, you know, with the heartbeat and the senses within her community.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when we were speaking earlier before we came on, you told me that so there's a school, Okere City. There's a school that grew organically. Then there's this shop. Then there's a community financial group, and you also told me that there's a healthcare center. Again, all these are just needs, community needs.
Yeah.
They're not addressed.
Yes.
How do you manage the healthcare center? How is it managed?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, I am not a public health expert, you know, neither am I an educationist, but within the community, there are people who've been part of the system. There are teachers, you know, there are either young people who've just finished their college education training, or there are even old men and women who are teachers who have retired. So how do I then bring these individuals together and give them newer and better possibilities, perhaps? So for the health center, you know, we have a trained medical expert who manages the daily operations of the facility. All I have to do is put in a monitoring framework and a system in place that makes sure that, you know, everything is being reported in a formally hierarchical order. And the same is true for the school. You know, there is a professional teacher, there is a headmaster, a teacher, you know, who oversees the operations of the school.
And they're part of the education system. They're part of the education system.
Yes, okay. so they are teachers themselves, they are trained professionals. And this kind of work, so I can be in Kampala, I could be wherever, in whichever part of the world, but I know that, you know, things are operating quite effectively, which actually is a system I want to develop, because I do not want the city to depend
to fully only depend on your presence.
Yeah, on my presence, because we all die, or maybe I'll not be interested in the idea for whatever reason, but the idea must still continue thriving. Yeah. So there are local and informal systems, both formal and informal operations and systems in place that make sure that things, you know, operate
things are working
quite effectively.
But I like that even the professionals that you're using in the school, the professionals that are, you know, helping in the health care center, these are professionals from the community.
Yes. Yeah, and that was very important, because at the end of the day, this is a community social enterprise. Perhaps that's another term that should be included in these all social entrepreneurship discussions. So when we bring the idea of community into social enterprises, I think it gives it a new twist, a new idea of sustainability, because then these are not just businesses operated by a social entrepreneur, but also where communities, local people are at the center stage of managing and ensuring that they operate quite effectively. So the teachers, the nurse, everybody who is part of this project really are people from within the community. And sometimes if we do not have the expertise from the local community, we bring experts and they train our local communities, and then they take it up. For instance, you know, we are doing a lot of bamboo constructions, and initially the idea of using a bamboo to build a wall was almost, you know, unthinkable in the village. So I had to bring in...
Because they use the mud.
Yes. So we use the bamboos, you know, to erect like our classrooms, our guest houses, and all the major structures we have in the city are actually built out of bamboo. Because we have to be sustainable, right? Like we have to use our local materials, you know, the materials that exist within the community. So we have the bamboos and we have the elephant grass in abundance. And so why can't we use this? So we have to bring in the experts, like maybe professional carpenters, you know, who could just give this young folks in the village, you know, the skills that they need to continue. And to our greatest advantage, this has been an incredible success.
Okay. Yes, I've seen the pictures of the. Okay, those were very interesting. I imagine that I could sleep in that hut. Didn't know it was a school. I was like, oh, this looks really pretty. I would love to sleep in there.
Yeah, we actually, in addition to the classroom, we also have like the guest rooms, the guest houses, which are also built with the elephant grass and the bamboos. And they're quite nice, actually.
Okay. So
they are quite executive, organically executive.
And you should put a premium in it. You're sleeping in an organic house. No, because everyone, they charge a premium on anything organic, so why not?
Yeah. I mean, there are just very many possibilities to what we can do using the materials that exist. Sometimes we just need to just think a little harder and just imagine what these things could do. Because, I mean, I'd never, like, really seen a bamboo house. Perhaps I had not taken my time, but as soon as I got the interest, and there's a lot of materials online in countries like Indonesia that have gone a notch higher. And I mean, you could say, so it is like gone to the extent that the beds we have, the chairs we have in the village, all these are made with bamboos.
And it's based on skills that, okay, fine, the experts came, but now they taught the locals. So
yes.
The locals can then
do it. The locals can then do it.
And this bamboo is there.
Yeah, the bamboo is there. Okay. And the elephant grass is there. Yeah, we can grow it, you know, we can rewild the village with bamboos. So these are possibilities that we
even green.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the whole climate change issues.
Yeah.
You can actually green the environment.
Yeah, and bamboos actually are really one of the best trees that absorb carbon dioxide.
Oh,
so
these carbon emissions.
Yeah, the emissions. Yeah.
That's so interesting. So you have so much further you need to take Okere City.
Yes. I think Okere City can only so we need to really continue demonstrating within the village that the idea can work.
Yeah.
And for the 2 years, and sustainable. And for the 2 years that we've been operating, at least there is enough impact to demonstrate that things are moving on well, especially in as far as elevating the community is concerned. At the moment, we have 200 kids in school, right? Receiving like the best education, not just education, because the teachers are some of the best teachers we have in the village. They underwent a rigorous recruitment process. You know, they are being paid, that we pay them a decent salary, so we can still attract and retain even the best of teachers. Our health facility on a daily basis provide medical treatment to up to 25 rural community members. Our grocery store on an average day provides basic goods merchandise to up to 150 people in the community. We have a local restaurant that serves about 30 to 50 people every day. We have a boxing club, and the story of the boxing club is even more unique because when we were displaced in the internally displaced people's camps, you know, people, you know, there were very many NGOs providing psychosocial and social support projects and activities. And one of the projects that was very common then was boxing, you know, as a form of therapy and psychosocial support. But unfortunately, when these young people went back to the villages, they started misdirecting the skills of boxing and fighting to be the village thugs, to be the village thieves. But when we started this project, they actually came and just said that they were tired of living this life. They were now looking for how best they could redirect, you know, this skill and this talent, you know, for greater good. That's how come we started up a boxing club. And every day they come, you know, train, and hopefully soon we will have
a boxing champion.
Hopefully.
Who was trained, who was an amateur in Okere City. You seem to be doing a lot more. And I wanted to talk about the guest house because you didn't talk much more. So you're saying that I can come from Kampala and say I'm going to stay in the Okere City guest house for a week.
Yes.
As a holiday, a vacation, a trip.
Yes. So and so the idea of the the community tourism arose because, one, we really want the world to know and understand what we are doing, and sometimes there is just a limit to how much knowledge and information you can consume online, or even when we meet and we discuss like this. But when you come, like you have like that first-hand, organic, authentic experience, it never leaves you the same again. And so that is what we are doing. We are now developing Okere City as a community tourism destination, you know, where people who are passionate and interested in community development, you know, and in human-centered designs, you know, come over to Okere City, and they get immersed into the community and they experience how life is in the community. And because of this, you know, we have to provide a certain level of comfort. Of course, you are not going to get what you get in a 5-star hotel in Okere City, but
that's not what you came for.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise, you've been in a 5-star hotel.
Yeah, but what you will get is you know, an experience that I can say you've never experienced anywhere.
Completely unique.
Completely unique, completely organic.
Okay. You're doing something with Shea Butter.
Yes.
I saw that. I saw you posting something with Shea Butter.
Yeah, and the story of the Shea Butter is something like this. So at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, you know, we were trying our best, but still things weren't pushing. So one evening I was taking a siesta, you know, under a big shea tree, which is right in my compound. And the shea, the fruits that started fruiting, you know, the leathery leaves of the shea tree, you know, were shaking and moving in unison, quite nice. And I kept studying the winds and how they were blowing the leaves, and the shea fruits, they were still young, but they looked so nice. And it just occurred to me that we were not doing enough, you know, with it. Like this wonderful tree, you know, that could give us these beautiful fruits for up to 400 years. Like we were not doing enough
and
to even protect.
Shea grows only in a few countries.
Yeah.
Period. Only in a few countries.
Yeah, that's true. So shea trees grow in 21 countries, you know, in Africa. So it would not grow anywhere else apart from Africa. And that's just a niche. And I mean, I got so interested in this whole shea butter and I started reading.
Did you Google in?
Yeah, I Googled in. But you know, the unfortunate bit is that the first information I got was like shea butter in West Africa and how these West African companies impacted people, empowered people, and made billions because of shea. I'm like why? Like, I have it here. Like, it's right here. Like, why can't I using it, you know, to our greatest advantage? And, you know, but just when I, you know, read that, you know, the global market share for shea butter is like 1.2 billion US dollars, and it keeps doubling every year.
Prime product.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, I have to position my community. I have to turn this product into like the vibranium, like what fuels transformation in my village. And that is when we started talking to the community, you know, just explore. You know, we decided that when you're going to set this up, I don't want to emerge as some middleman who then exploits this.
Basically makes all the value out of it.
Yeah, but why can't we do this as a cooperative society? So we started a shea butter cooperative society. You know, we worked around the process, but in July, you know, we already, you know, had collected shea nuts from the farmers, and we had, you know, we launched our product into the marketplace, okay, shea butter. And between July and December of 2020, we were able to make a net profit of about $2,000 US.
Seriously, from the shea products?
Yeah, from the shea products. I mean, of course, this wasn't a lot of money.
Honorable members, the Parliamentary Pension Amendment Bill is coming up today, and I request that members, we really give it time and finish that bill today, because it concerns us. It concerns all of us in this house. And we have issues that were raised yesterday. There was an issue on school fees. I would request that the minister responsible brings a paper next week on the issue of school fees, and then on the issue of supply of seedlings. Supply of seedlings, who want a paper to be presented on that matter. Honorable members, as the head of the institution, all members of parliament here belong to the speaker. My two members of parliament make 1 year in prison today. That is Honorable Sewanyana and Honorable Segirenya. I request and I plead with the government for a speedy trial on this member so that they represent their constituency. Because today it is them, tomorrow it is somebody else. Let's see how we can have these people, their case concluded. I want to thank you once more, and thank you for coming for the session. Honorable Katesh.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I rise in accordance with Rule 218. Madam Speaker, you appointed an ad hoc committee to investigate the Wijagari tax waiver during the consideration of the income tax amendment.
Is it on my communication? I had already given you permission. I told you to put it in writing and come and lay on table. We give you an extension. So bring it in writing and we give you an extension. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you for your communication on the issue of seedlings, that where you have guided the House that next week the minister is going to come up with a paper. However, Right Honorable Speaker, when you look at our seasons, we are actually very, very late. The rains are ending. We have been having rains, I think, now for a month. And nowadays it is the seasons are changing. So wouldn't this be too long, Right Honorable Speaker, that by the time they come, we debate, we agree, find the money that we may be targeting next year and not even this season? I was seeking your indulgence in that area, Right Honorable Speaker.
The responsible minister communicated and said it would be ready on Tuesday, and we can't force him give us a document that is not there. It's like asking for what is not there. So let's give the ministry Tuesday to bring a document and see what is the action. What do we do? Maybe they want to get an assurance from cabinet on Monday. Yes. Eki?
Madam Speaker, as per your communication.
Is it a procedure on communication?
Madam Speaker, on a matter that is very important regarding this. Madam Speaker, yesterday we were here and a very critical matter came on the floor. The Right Honorable Prime Minister assured us that the matter of Nyege will be handled, and the House took a decision. Madam Speaker, government needs to operate as one. We have the Prime Minister as a lead of government business. We have the institution of Parliament that represents the people of Uganda. Madam Speaker, we find it abnormal and a system that's not practiced in any country in the world. That the House makes a position, the Prime Minister is represented, then the Prime Minister later on goes to address the press on a matter that has not been concluded. Madam Speaker and honorable members, we operate in a digital world. If we continue to operate like that, everything we communicate here is received around the world. It will show that there is confusion in government, there's confusion in Parliament. Madam Speaker, isn't it proper for the Right Honorable Prime Minister, as the leader of government business, to bring a law here on LOTB and homosexuality so that this matter can be discussed and we conclude it once and for all, instead of doing a ping pong, addressing the press on a matter that the House has taken. Madam Speaker, I want to seek for your indulgence that the Prime Minister sure as brings a bill, this matter is discussed and is concluded. Otherwise, operating outside the system, outside the Constitution, will show we are confused and all of us will lose the respect, locally and internationally, Madam Speaker.
It's still on the same.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, just like my colleague has said yesterday, we took a decision and you directed. We have had instances in the past where we take a decision and then some ministers go to some place in the media and start speaking against Parliament. I would understand if the Prime Minister came here and said, this is our position as government in Parliament, rather than addressing a press conference and say, ignore what Parliament has done. This is my position. I think it is unfair. It is it's uncalled for. It is disturbing. I would want to get an explanation in that regard. As how does somebody say ignore what Parliament has said? This is the position. Does that suggest that somebody doesn't respect Parliament? What would that suggest?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, you recently returned from Rome, where you got the blessings. And it's my belief that yesterday when you made that, it was inspiration from what you got from the Holy Father. And that was the message. We all belong to faith and values and traditions. And I believe the Prime Minister belongs to certain faith. We saw her the other day with the bishop. Honorable Barrios was missed narrowly to be the father. He's the spokesperson, the priest. So, guided by that, Right Honorable Speaker, I knew your pronouncement yesterday was guided by that message that you received. And we needed to protect our children. If some people want their children to behave the way they would, let them take it somewhere. Let them take somewhere. So, Right Honorable Speaker, you spoke yesterday, you guided as a mother and protect and as our leader in Parliament. So to see the Prime Minister come to say the contrary, I think it was absurd. What would have done would have been if she had any worrying thing. She should have called the Speaker, say, no, we have this issue, and let us settle it. Then the public now to look at us like we are fighting. Yes, information.
Thank you, Honourable Member, for giving. Well, the information I want to give the House that as of this morning, activities are going on normally. The nyege activities, they are going on normally. People are organizing. Everything is going on as if there was no any directive by this House, as if we did not take any decision. Everything is going on normally. That's the information that I wanted to give the House.
As I conclude, Right Honorable Speaker, you are number 3. The Prime Minister is number 9. Can we respect that hierarchy? Thank you. Information.
Honorable members, maybe we need to hear from government, but whatever decision, whatever statement I said was with my full conscience. A full conscience of being a Mukatuli. And I'm not about to withdraw, and I will not withdraw. And whatever I say, there is no confusion in Parliament. If there is confusion the other side, for us in Parliament, we are at peace. Whatever happens, we are at peace as Parliament.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I think before I go to that one, on the issue of seedlings, I think we can call the minister, because Cabinet has already taken a decision on that, tomorrow, so that he can make a statement. Then two,
Hajat,
on the nyege.
Hajat, what is unfortunate with this house? When you talk about things of immorality, people are very fast in acting. Issues of nyege were talked about yesterday, and it was acted upon immediately. It is as an urgent thing. But issues of seedlings came some time back. But Yamus may not come back to Parliament because of the seedlings.
So
you see that kind of thing. We need to support the farmers.
Right Honorable, now I'm reacting on the nyege issue. On the issue of nyege, I want to call my colleague, Honorable Justin Lumumba Kasule, because she has been... No.
The promoter. Are you the promoter? Are you the promoter? The promoter. Is he a promoter? The promoter or a promoter?
Right Honorable Justin Kasule has been given the authority to come and explain and lead it so that she can give us more information about it. I thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Justin Lumumba was supposed to be a senior nun of this country.
Honorable members, I'm born in a family where the firstborn was a nun in the Little Sisters of St. Francis of Assisi, Third Order Regular Nkokonjero. So what you are talking about, I come from that, and I live by that. And I live by the virtues and values of the Catholic Church, in addition to those that are in the Constitution. Leadership is not always sweet. And you lead because it is a team. Right Honorable Speaker, I was here yesterday. The issue of nyege was raised. The Minister of Ethics and Integrity gave us briefly her view, what they called the do's and don'ts that they were putting in place with the Minister of Internal Affairs and Police. And we also had the Minister of Tourism, who also gave us his view. But Right Honorable Speaker, after you had ruled yesterday, the Prime Minister, Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, was advised by many of us who are in this house, including myself, that let's have a discussion about this issue. And the discussion meeting under her chair took place this morning. She gave me the responsibility to lead a team of ministers and permanent secretaries to come and have a discussion with you as the head of the institution and who was the presiding officer yesterday. It is very unfortunate that when we got to your office with no appointment because of the urgency, we were informed that you would be coming. And that's why we also behaved unprofessionally today and waylaid you on the way as you are entering the chambers, seeking an appointment with you to have this discussion before we go out to the public. Because the decision was taken, the executive is part of Parliament. You presided over yesterday. And I'm very happy that you have given us an appointment tomorrow at midday. My prayer to you, Right Honorable Speaker, allow us to have a discussion under your chair tomorrow. Then whatever you advise us to do, we shall take action as way forward as agreed with you. Right, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to say that I will be available with the team to your office tomorrow at midday, and we'll have a discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Right.
There is a clarification from Morris.
Yes. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Free sitting.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm seeking clarification from Honorable Justin. And as somebody who is conveying the message of the Right Honorable Prime Minister, whether the message and the information we are reading is coming from the Prime Minister, or since she's representing the Prime Minister, can be answered and say that is not true and the Prime Minister has not said anything about it.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I'm a human being that was delegated by the Right Honorable Prime Minister with the fellow human beings. I cannot account for whatever happened between the office of the Prime Minister and your office when we are coming to talk to you, and up to the time we got to you. So I cannot say yes or no over something I've not seen. Thank you.
Honorable Lumumba, you cannot account for what happened between the Prime Minister and my office. You didn't come to my office. I didn't meet you in my office. We met in the corridor, and I can't say we had a meeting. So what the honorable member is saying, what was said in the press, that you said go ahead with your nyege nyege, is it true?
Right, Honorable Speaker, I said we came to your office and were given information by the team in your office. We don't have capacity to disagree or discredit when they gave us information.
Order, Madam Speaker.
On the issue
Point of order.
On the issue to do with what happened, what they are telling me what happened in the press, I don't have any evidence of whatever allegations they are making, because to me it is still an allegation until I've seen. That's why I'm saying, Right Honorable Speaker, that I can only account for what I know. Please.
Thank you so much. Right Honorable Speaker, the media is quoting the Prime Minister, asking the organizers to go ahead. The minister is saying there was a discussion and they agreed to come and meet you. That is different from what the media is quoting, and they are quoting a Prime Minister saying you can proceed. Now, is it in order for the minister to come and tell us that they have not taken a decision? They are still consulting and they want to talk to you. Yet a decision has been taken and it is out there quoting the Prime Minister. Is she in order?
Of course, the minister is not in order. Honorable members, we are going to continue with this nyege nyege thing. Okay.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I wish to seek clarification from Honorable Justin. No. Okay, maybe she's scared of a dog. Right Honorable Speaker, now, as you're trying to seek appointment from Speaker's office, the clarification I'm seeking, Honorable Justin, is that have the activities of nyege nyege been put to halt, or they are still continuing?
Honorable members, let the minister respond.
Right, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. The Code of Conduct demands that the message, the information that I carried from the meeting where the Prime Minister delegated me was to the Speaker. Until the Speaker has given me that opportunity, I cannot begin opening that information here before I've met the Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Sarah.
Right Honorable Speaker, the procedural issue that I want to raise in this House, we all know that we still have monkeypox in most of those countries in Europe. And from the revelation from the Minister of Tourism yesterday was that over 8,000 people are coming from Europe and all parts of the world to this country. Right Honorable Speaker, aware that we have just come out of the COVID-19 pandemic, where we had issues, Right Honorable Speaker, and people even locked up for complete 2 years.
Members, can you keep quiet?
And aware, Right Honorable Speaker, that the government, I was reading that samples for smallpox were picked by the Minister of Health.
Honorable, concentrate.
Right Honorable Speaker, aware that the Ministry of Health even picked samples from some suspected cases and flew them to South Africa. Now, Right Honorable Speaker, having all these 8,000 people flying in, these are tourists, but Right Honorable Speaker, what capacity do we have as a country to test for these monkeypox, where the incubation period is between 6 to 13 days, Right Honorable Speaker? We cannot sell our country just because of money. Tomorrow we shall have another pandemic here, Right Honorable Speaker. So, Right Honorable Speaker, the procedural issue that I am raising is whether government has also considered the health aspect. Okay? Can I pick?
Honorable members, honorable members. Honorable members, those who want to speak in the House, if you want to speak in the House, before you're given permission to speak, just cross over and go to National Theatre. Now, don't think you're more affected on the issues of, maybe the mothers here are more affected than you. So stop making that noise of yours. We have serious business.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I had given information to the Honorable Member so that I conclude.
Thank you.
Yes, government spokesperson. Information.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. As the Honorable Kasule Lumumba informed us, the executive side of government started this morning, and we agreed to have further consultations with the office of the Speaker. And that's when the statements shall be made. I beg that we stop the debate here until when that meeting has taken place, because there is no need for Parliament to appear to be in a conflict. Just hold on. There is no need for Parliament to appear to be in conflict with the executive, because we are serving the same people. So I want to beg the House that we wait for the meeting between the executive and the office of the Speaker, and thereafter we shall inform the nation. I thank you very much.
And Honorable Chris, we also request you as executive to first hold your statement. Hold your statement that you're saying that we've given them a go-ahead and that kind of thing, until we conclude and agree on a position as government.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I want to, on behalf of the executive, if my boss, the Right Honorable Robin Anabanja, has done that, I apologize, because that is not in good spirit, especially where we have two institutions that are both concerned on issues to do with our culture, our religion, and morality of this country, but also vis-a-vis to do with the issues of the economy. It requires discussion, so I would really request, Right Honorable Speaker, that we will not do that again, but accord us the time at midday as promised, so that
after the discussion under your chair and guidance, we shall agree under your chair to what to do, what is best for this country. I thank you.
Honorable members, I want to thank you for I thought we agreed we continue tomorrow. Which motion are you bringing? Yes.
Thank you.
Honorable members, the front desk. Honorable Lumumba, the members are requesting, the House is requesting that whatever is happening must be put to halt. Until tomorrow, when we agree, we should be able to speak as a country.
Thank you, Right Honorable.
Honorable Lumumba is still on the floor.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I've taken note of this and let me inform the relevant authorities to make that. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable members, as I said, we have a very important bill that everybody is waiting for.
Very briefly, Honorable Speaker, with your kind indulgence, I took seriously your communication on two major issues, not that any of them was endless. One on the returned bill. You know, we expend a lot of time and resources processing bills. And when bills are returned, that probably the line ministers, especially the government bill, the line ministers did not do their job. Because a bill is a consultative action of Parliament. Consultations between Parliament, stakeholders, and the executive. The President being the head of the executive, returning bill after bill is an indictment of the front bench. I would like to invite the front bench to rise to the occasion so that we do not do this work over and over. Bills are returned over the other bill we have passed has been returned, including tax bills. So we need to get the executive to do this work, right, Honorable Speaker, that we do not expend time and resources on bills returning and time lost. Thank you, right, Honorable Speaker. Then to our colleagues that are in detention today is a full year. You can see, right, Honorable Speaker, on your left, almost 90% of the members on your left are putting on black. You've not seen me on a black tie, probably for the time I have been around this house. And we did that deliberately in commemoration and raising a red flag over this injustice. But, Honorable Speaker, we are very concerned and disheartened over the circumstances of their continued detention. Clearly, the state is persecuting them because there's no other meaning of detention without trial other than persecution. Clearly, they were arrested before investigations were made. And it's very disheartening, right, Honorable Speaker, members of Parliament. So for a full year, two constituencies are without representation in this House of Parliament. I tried to reach out to the Chief Justice and the Principal Judge over this matter because I equally think that the judiciary is culpable in their continued detention and they need to rise to the occasion. The two officers, the two gentlemen, did not respond to my plea. Imagine the Chief Justice and the Principal Judge not responding to an official request by the leader of the opposition. The judiciary too is indictable in this. It's not my business to interfere with their work, but it's my business and full-time business to raise a red flag when they become flimsy in their business. Just like a Parliament is called upon this work judiciously. Right, Honorable Speaker, in the circumstances,
These two honorable members will require special intervention of Parliament. It's a syndicate, in my view, in our view, to have them in detention. Again, it's the Constitution. Article 23(1) is very clear, 28(3) is clear about the rights of those in detention. So for a full year, the state is unable to prosecute their case. The judge had been changed. This is unacceptable. Probably our constitutional order has broken down and people are taking matters in their hands. Right, Honourable Speaker, probably this House of Parliament will be the last firewall for citizens that have their rights trampled upon by the state. I don't want to say that the judiciary has joined in a connivance, but we are asking of the judiciary to do this work to uphold the rights of citizens and to have courts independently do their work without undue interference by the state, right, Honourable Speaker. Lastly, the citizens on whose behalf I did place their names here that had disappeared have never been accounted for. 15 Ugandans disappeared. I want to inform the front bench that you are marked. You are the people in charge when citizens are disappearing. Just know. You are the people in charge. When Ugandans are disappearing unaccounted for, you'll be made to account for these disappearances. They have children, they have wives, they have families who are promised by the Honourable Speaker that they're going to account for them. It's now more than a year. They cannot account for these citizens. They were arrested by the state on record. They cannot deny it. But Honourable Speaker, these are very compelling times. It's not just about members of Parliament. It's about every citizen. Even as we speak, people are being picked without any being produced before court. It's very, very disturbing, right, Honourable Speaker? And I hope the Prime Minister will come to this Parliament and probably declare a state of emergency in this country, constitutional emergency, probably a rule of the jungle that we can find our way, right, Honourable Speaker. I submit.
Thank you so much, Leader of Opposition. Maybe just to make a clarification on the returned bills. In most cases, we find like we have a bill in this house. And for this case, this bill is here of fisheries. It is basically on a definition of who a licensing officer is. And that one, I wouldn't really put a blame on the front desk. Yes, Honorable Bahati.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On the comment by the Leader of Opposition, that the return of bills by the President to the House should be a blame by the Executive is not necessarily true and should be put in context. This is part of legislation. For example, the bill that was returned by His Excellency the President regarding taxes recently, government had proposed to put a tax on plastics for purposes of fighting issues with the environment. When it came here in the House, you said we delete it, and he returned it. So there are some amendments that are done by Parliament, and then His Excellency the President looks at them and said, no, Parliament, can you go back and look at this? So for the Leader of Opposition to suggest that when the President returns the bill, then it is the Executive, the front bench, not doing the work, he needs to cross-check those facts, and those facts are not true, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. And maybe members, when we are legislating and making the laws, let's do it in posterity. Let's not look at the definition as the way we want it today. For instance, this is on a definition. And the second issue, the President is saying, instead of having only UPF, let's add UPDF also in the what? In the surveillance unit. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. The Constitution and our rules of procedure as well provide for the President either assenting or returning a bill if he's not satisfied or if he has different views. I think we should commend our President, such that he is active. He reads the bills which we pass as Parliament. He does not just rubber stamp. Therefore, there should be no room for us to complain that the President is doing his work to read the bills which we pass, and where he has concerns, he returns them, and the rules are clear on how we manage the bills which are returned. So I don't think my friend leader of opposition should make it an issue that the President is returning the bill. He doesn't return all the bills, but where he has an observation, he returns it, and the law, the Constitution, the rules provide for that.
Actually, my only concern is the bill should be returned in time. You don't keep the bill there for all that time and then bring when the time. I mean, yeah. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. We shouldn't get worried that when the President returns a bill, it means that Parliament has no powers. So when the President returns a bill more than once and Parliament insists, then by law, it passes. So I just wanted to put that addition.
MP, it was initially read for the first time